Hi, everybody. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about figurative language, specifically why people choose to use it. I'll discuss different types, how to recognize them, and how to use them in later videos. But I think that before we get to knowledge and skills, it's important to reflect on purpose. This will help to provide a foundation for understanding the knowledge and skills once we start exploring them. As always, liking and subscribing are great. Hallelujah. But what I would really love is if you left me a comment. Maybe your favorite example of figurative language and why it's so interesting or meaningful to you, or something you don't understand that you would like me to explain in a future video, or further discussion of some of the points that I raise in this one, or even just a comment to say hello. I love all of that. The internet is an amazing thing. It gives us access to all kinds of information and enables us to connect with many different people from around the world. In a lot of ways, that's fantastic. And in some other ways, it sucks. While I do not actually agree with Mr. Theodore Sturgeon as to the ratio, I think that most stuff is actually pretty decent. Because the internet is so huge and has so much on it, according to the article on Starry that I linked in the description, quote, as of 2016, Cisco estimated global internet traffic to be 1.1 zettabytes per year. I don't even know what a zettabyte is. Shh, don't tell. They also said, quote, the internet has almost doubled in size every year since 2012. That means that even if we're only talking about a fraction of the internet, that's still an awful lot of, well, you know. The development of the internet as a way to share information, combined with the creativity that I would argue is inherent in human nature, led to cross-cultural sharing and the resultant production and proliferation of meme culture. Overall, I think this is awesome. Now, a vast number of memes are going to be incomprehensible to any one person because so many of them rely on prior familiarity with very specific, sometimes obscure source material. An example of this is the loss meme. If you don't know it, you won't get it. There is a link to this down in the description as well in case you're interested. However, other memes, such as the distracted boyfriend, provide the relevant context. You don't need to know that the original image is a stock photo by Antonio Guillem, or that it was taken in 2015, or that it's part of a series. The facial expressions of the people in the photograph clearly illustrate a situation that is familiar to pretty much anyone with a basic understanding of human interactions. A well-crafted meme is, first and foremost, relatable. Many use humor to underscore a point, but a lot of them are not all that well crafted. Mimetic novelty quickly gives way to derivative mimicry, with each subsequent iteration becoming more and more cliched. And of course, because it's the internet, some of them are just wrong. That brings us to what was actually the seed for this video: the blue curtains. There are a few variations on this meme, but they tend to illustrate the same basic ideas, all of which are heavily flawed. That the author's meaning is the definitive one, that authors include details that have neither reason nor significance, that English teachers just point out symbolism without having any reason for it whatsoever, and that, by extension, English teachers don't know what they're doing. Now, it might surprise you to learn that the last point is actually the least bothersome to me. That's because I feel pretty confident in my professional abilities. I know that, for the most part, I know what I'm doing. And when I'm trying something new and I don't know what I'm doing, I know how to learn, and I know how to ask for support. So let's look at the other points and why they are flawed. First of all, the idea that the intent of the author trumps all other meaning. Briefly, no. Less briefly, it is broadly accepted and has been for some time that it's more complex than that. For one thing, readers' prior experience will shape their experience of the text. I encourage my students to avoid overall descriptors like, "This text is confusing," and instead frame that as their experience. "I found this text confusing." From there, we can look at what in the text prompts that experience and what about the student's prior experiences and expectations influenced it as well. Thus, what about the text do you find confusing? Sometimes it's vocabulary, often it's sentence structure. Once we get past that, it might be a lack of familiarity with the text structure. How does this work together? Where is it going? For another, just as readers bring their culture and their experiences to a text, authors are likewise shaped by their own culture and experiences in ways that influence the act of creation. In many cases, art is created as a deliberate response to specific events such as Animal Farm or Uncle Tom's Cabin or Guernica. However, in other cases, the artistic creation may be in response to a range of experiences and to culture in general, such as in The Great Gatsby. While Fitzgerald said that he wanted to write something beautiful, the years following the First World War were marked by rapid economic growth, which created social restlessness. Those elements also show up in the novel, as do parallels to Fitzgerald's sudden success, combined with uncertainty and lack of self-confidence. While it's not definitively clear that Fitzgerald intended Gatsby to be commentary on social class, wealth, or success, the influence of these experiences is strongly suggested by the text itself. Second, the implied idea that the curtains being blue has no significance. Now, here I do want to point out that there is an important distinction between significance and symbolism. In this version of the meme, the English teacher thinks that the curtains represent the depression of either a character or the author. It's really not clear. Using the word represent, however, does make it clear that the teacher is observing symbolic meaning. And not everything has symbolic meaning. I actually have blue curtains in my living room where I typed up the script. I paused to take a picture to share it with you. Now, is there another layer of meaning to those curtains? Does their blueness have some kind of figurative implication? Are they an allegory for humanity's longing for exploration, given that blue is often used to represent the sea and the sky? No. However, the response in the meme that the author just meant that the curtains were blue implies that there is no meaning to the existence or the color of the curtains, which goes too far in the other direction. Art is deliberate. If a work includes the sentence, "The curtains were blue," then it matters that there were curtains, and it matters that they were blue. Good writers don't include details without reason. When creators are masters of their crafts, there are no throwaway notes in a symphony, no throwaway brushstrokes in a painting, and no throwaway words in a novel. And that's consistent with real life. We may not always be able to perceive or understand the reasons, but there are always reasons that things happen the way that they do. Why are the curtains in my living room blue? Because I purchased blue curtains. Why did I purchase blue curtains? Because they coordinated with the blue tones in the sofa and the various throw pillows that we had. Why did we have that sofa and those pillows? Because they had been given to us. And new furniture can be really expensive. And hey, I'm a teacher, not some YouTube big shot. So the fact that the curtains are blue actually tells you a lot about who I am and what I value, if you know why the curtains are blue. Now that brings us to English teachers and their apparently terrible habit of finding symbolism everywhere Oh no, stop the presses, raise the alarm, man the lifeboats, call 911. Whatever will we do? In the meme, just as there is no reason either asked or given for the existence and color of the curtains, the teacher's thoughts about symbolic meaning are also presented without any justification. But you see, that's not how it works. Because I think so isn't a valid critique. Listen up. If you ever hear me do that, call me out. Ask me what in the work makes me think so. Ask me for my evidence from the text to use the language of the standards as we're supposed to do. If your teacher thinks that there is symbolic meaning in a text, I am completely confident that there are reasons behind that interpretation. And when teachers provide examples, they also provide explanation. You just weren't listening. The thing is, reading and writing give us an opportunity to explore why we think what we do and why others might perceive the same event in a different way. It isn't easy, but it's a way to develop a deeper understanding of ourselves and of others. It builds empathy. And that can make us better people. Thanks for watching, everybody. I would love to have a comment from you to know what you think about all of this. Maybe some of your favorite examples of symbolism or your favorite memes. There is a whole bunch of links down in the description to articles and posts that I found helpful in creating this. Also, if you're interested, since it is just about time for school to start, I have included a link to my Amazon teacher wish list. These are things that are bonus materials for my class. Multicolored markers and pens, skin tone crayons and colored pencils, as well as board games that are cooperative and encourage conversation and relationship building. They're not things that are necessary for my class. We do live in a low-income area, but they're not things that I need, that I would get on my own. So please don't feel any sort of, urgency. But if you want to help, that's one way that you could. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.